Hello and welcome to tonight's Get in Tune. I'm Michael Gracia and I have a really fun show. And first off, though, I need to apologize because I just noticed I had the wrong date for the show on Buddy's ad. All right, we got Buddy Scalera back. He was on a few weeks ago. I had October 12th on. I forgot to change it to the 19th. That's the problem when you're a one man show. Um, but it's okay. We're still going to have fun. You guys are here. Um, so let's bring on Buddy, which is my mouse. There it is. Hello, Buddy.
Michael, I'm so glad that you're running the show and are clicking the buttons because I usually get made fun of because I can never hit the right button.
Oh, really? All right. Do you use Streamyard as well?
I use StreamYard and I should be able to after
Mm,
a year and a half of doing my show, but like
yeah.
you're an old pro at this. You know exactly what to go.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank
yeah,
you.
Mike.
Oh, let's see. Hi, Mike, and hi, David. Hopefully, you both. Well, David, I think you posted even before. He posted at 12:31 this afternoon. His comment. He saw the ad and was excited to be on. So I am happy to have you on. Facebook user is Joe Ryan. For some reason, still having his stuff. So hello. Let me tell you guys before I even get to Buddy. He sent me artwork for this. He sent me the first issue as a digital copy so I can read it. So I'm aware of what's going on. And let me tell you, before we look at his book, before we look at his Kickstarter, I'll tell you what I told him backstage. I was pissed he didn't include issue two with it. All right, it is that good of a story. I want to know more, and I'm excited for your book, your Kickstarter, everything going on. So um, I think you've been on enough times. People know who you are. I don't think we need to go into your background. Let's just jump right into the comic. So let me pull up the Kickstarter first, and I'm going to share that, and then we'll come and look at some of the. Uh, it's a new way of sharing this stuff here.
By the way, Michael, I think this Apocalypse Boulevard would also make a great animated series, don't you think?
I agree with you. And are you hinting because I'm an animator or?
No mild hinting there at all. I mean, why would I do that?
um, no, I will say this. Yes, no, I think very much in the animated mindset. Um, last time you were on, we discussed how I was kind of moving more towards animation than to comics, and I'm still doing comics, but I do love my animation. But everything I write, I tend to think in the idea of motion for animation anyway. And when I saw this, all I thought about was how cool of like a movie this would be or a series in animation. Obviously, not for kids. Just so you guys know that it's not a. I don't think this is too kid friendly of a story, but
What are you
it's.
talking about? This is rated G. What are you talking about? safe
But
safe for middle schoolers. Go
safe.
on, parents, go out and get it. It's like they
Well,
go from the Wiggles right to Apocalypse Boulevard.
well, I will say this. It is on the level of in this, and you're right. I mean, I haven't read any of the issues, but what I read, total manga, like in the sense of the way a story would be carried out for kids that would be interested in it. I just read one. Let me just grab it. Hold on. I don't remember
All
the
right, well,
exact.
Michahel's away. I'm taking over the show. I've got access to all the buttons, and I'm just going to start clicking them. Oh,
It has. This is a book for, I would guess, middle schoolers. I picked it up because I wanted something new to read, and I picked up this. It's called
oh, to go
the.
full screen, I can't see it. I can't.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
I mean the.
Let me give myself the screen. It's called The Promised Neverland.
Ooh, that looks
All
great.
right. Now there's I don't know how many books in the series, but I will say this: I thought this was such a um, fun book. I'm not going to spoil anything for anyone who's never read it, but basically the story is there's an orphanage, and the three oldest kids are 12 years old. They're going to be leaving the orphanage soon, and they find out the orphanage is not quite what it seems, and what their world they've known is not what they thought they'd be doing with their lives.
Oh, the art looks
So,
great. I like the
oh,
coloring on the cover.
yeah, it's gorgeous here. I read manga in like spurts. Like I'll be like, I haven't read something in a while. I'll read manga. Then I'll go back to reading like American comics. Then I'll go back to like I go back and forth. So I was just in the mood, and that was one of the ones I picked up, and I really just enjoyed it. That I want to go back and pick up some more issues.
I like any manga that is. So I like post-apocalyptic, anything that shows the collapse of society, and there's so much good manga that has that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of choices. Not as much traditional American and European. I think more European.
Yeah.
We don't have quite as much in the U.S.
Yeah. I will say this. This isn't. Well, I don't know yet if this is post-apocalyptic, but there may be some stuff going on that you might actually get into this story. I think.
I like anything that has extreme violence and to the point where it doesn't feel real. Like you don't like, oh, like you cringe. You think like the movie Hostel. That makes me cringe because I'm like, oh, that looks so real. Like this is like it's harpies and minotaurs. Like it does, it's fun. It's action. It's fun. It's monsters.
Yeah. And that's what I liked about your story, because I'm a big fan of like mythology and those type of monsters. So seeing them, come to life, almost a in a way a Walking Dead kind of feel, in the sense where you don't know what the heck happened, how stuff happens. You're just kind of thrown into the story, and what the heck's going on here? I kind of really enjoyed that. Now, you have successfully funded already, so congratulations. If I can get you more money tonight or over the next 15 days, people rewatch this, I'm happy to do so. But I just wanted to show the Kickstarter first. Let me post the link in the comments.
So you mentioned zombies. When I originally came up with this, Michael, I came up with this idea a really long time ago.
Well, I was actually going to ask you about it.
And oh, there you go. And pre-Walking Dead. And what ended up happening was zombies took off, and I realized, what, everybody's doing not everybody's doing zombies, but you had fast zombies and slow zombies. You had smart zombies and dumb zombies. And I just thought, well, maybe we could do something with mythological creatures. You nailed it right. The whole universe will be mythological creatures. Mm-hmm. So in this first arc, it's harpies and minotaurs. But in the future, hopefully, if we can do more of these, there will be other mythological creatures. I love, like you, the mythology behind those creatures and then integrating them. So I used a little of that in the story, but I made them my own. And it did start with zombies, but eventually at a certain point, I realized there's enough people doing zombies extremely well. There's so many people who do it great. I figured this would be a nice way, and plus harpies allow you to have flying creatures. You can't have flying zombies.
Yeah, I will say the first time I looked at like the cover, I didn't notice right away that they were harpies. I thought they might have been like some kind of angels or something that have come down. All of a sudden we have a holy war or something on Earth, But then as I looked closer at the cover, and I don't know if you guys can see here. Can I zoom in? Let's see.
Control plus, right?
That's what I'm trying, but the problem is I have a Mac computer and I'm using a PC keyboard, so I always
there you go. You got it.
Yeah. So
good.
If you notice right here, there's a claw, and I'm like, awesome. All of a sudden, I knew it was harpies. I even got more excited. So this is really cool stuff. So you created this. You are not just the creator, but you are the writer of it as well.
That's great.
And I want to compliment you on that, because the way you wrote, I was really hooked. And there are certain things where like you don't see it. At least I don't as you know, I don't read a lot of mainstream comics, so I don't see it in a lot of the comics that I'm reading these days. But like, it was almost like you had your character sometimes when he was scared, like almost stuttering in a way, and he was repeating himself, and you kind of wrote that, and I just liked because I felt like if I was in that situation and I was trying to talk to someone, I'd be like stopping and repeating myself, and like it just felt very believable.
Thank you.
You
I
know,
think one of the things that I wanted to go for was the fact that the main character will go through this arc, this journey, and he only survives the first night of the apocalypse because he's a coward. And he admits it. Like
yeah.
he's like, if you were there, you would have been too. And I think what's important is he will evolve
Mhm.
and grow braver as time goes on. And I think what we have in this character is somebody who is essentially not respected. He's a valet. He's a
Yeah,
parking valet.
yeah,
And the only reason he survived was because he had somebody's keys when the harpies started to attack. The windows were rolled up. He was ready to go, and he drove away and survived. And he didn't help anybody. And then he went to help his sister. And I think the key thing was, we think about all this heroism. It sounds great when you see it in the movies, but if people were dying around you, there's fight or flight. He flights, right?
Mhm.
He doesn't fight. He's out of
Yeah,
there. And I wanted to show a character who was not instantly brave and had the instinct to fight. The only thing he had the instinct to do was where he knew his sister might be in danger, and he takes off. And he admits this, and I think that that's part of the texture of the characters. I tried to make these characters have a layer that was a little bit non-standard for action stories.
yeah. No, that's good. Like it was a smart way of building a story. It's you don't always go into that. Obviously, well, I don't want to say obviously because I haven't read the issue 2 yet or anything, but he may be the hero of the story. We don't know. He could be someone else because he travels with a companion.
Yeah.
And well, 2 technically, but
Right.
one of them I really enjoyed, and that was the cop, and that was what was the name?
Policeman
Policeman
Joe.
Joe. You wrote a line in there that I was like I know some police officers, and I know how they are about the whole idea of protecting and stuff, and that line I don't remember the exact words right now, but it was something along the lines of um, he needed to know he saved 1 or 2 people,
Yeah.
and I was like, I know so many people. I mean, who knows if they were in that situation, they may have just ran themselves cop wise, but I'm just saying, like, I know so many like police officers and people who are I'm about protecting, and if they were in that situation, I could see them, you know, having that mentality.
And
You
where
know,
Joe comes in is he does not speak much at all throughout the entire series. He is
yeah,
a very quiet character, big on action, but in the first attack of the monster apocalypse, he just picks up weapon after weapon, never slows down. He's like a Terminator, never lowers his tie, never rolls up. He just stands there in uniform, fully buttoned up, and just keeps shooting harpies out of the sky. Like
yeah,
he is just determined. And I love that about Policeman Joe. And he is, his backstory is he was sick. He's got an illness, and he was going to be on leave. And he was kind of the cop that would do the dare programs. And the
yeah,
apocalypse comes, and he just steps up, picks up rifles, guns, handguns, whatever, and just keeps shooting to try
yeah,
to save at least one person, and that
yeah,
gets them through the first night of the monster apocalypse.
yeah. And we're gonna look at some of the art now. So I'm gonna pull up Photoshop. Let me do that. Share screen, window. This is Photoshop here.
Delete all,
Yeah.
erase,
so,
reformat drive.
so is this from the new book?
So this is from the third issue. Yeah, this is from the third issue. This is where they leave the police department and they think they're going to be okay. And if you zoom into that bottom panel, you'll see they are anything but okay. And I actually believe this panel is in the highest reward tier, Michael. I've ponied up original art, so I believe this is one of those the pages that is a reward level for the higher tier. So this is the third issue. The police department gets attacked, and it is the issue where we meet the Valkyries, who are an all-female fighting force of Valkyrie hunters, and they just roam the Badlands in jeeps, open-top jeeps, and M60s and harpoon guns, and basically save people who are broken down on the side of the road. This is the police department getting overrun by harpies.
I gotta say, I love this panel, and and this one here, it's like a harpy's dropping him. This guy here,
yeah,
or something. Yeah, I just love the hands and everything.
Yeah, I think what's really beautiful is you can just see the amount of depth and detail, plus multiple planes. You know, you're an artist.
Yeah.
You know, you get the illusion of 3 dimensions when you do 3 levels of planes. So you see the cop in the extreme foreground, you've got the midground, you've got the background, and he'll sometimes do 4 planes. He never skimps on any of the details. He always gave me great angles. And that's part of what made this comic fun for me, because he was really able to take my ideas and then take them to the next level. Like anyone else might have drawn 2 harpies. He went and drew a whole bunch. And again, this is part of the rewards. People can have this art if they bid.
And what's the artist's name? I forgot to ask.
Donnie Hajawawa. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. I've never actually spoken to Donnie. We've only ever communicated on chat. He's based in Indonesia. I found a comic that years ago in an indie comic, and I saw this comic and I was like, this is a great comic. And every once in a while I would put his name into search to see if I can find him. And one day I found him and I was like, would you like to work on a comic? And he wasn't immediately ready. So I waited for about 6 months for him. And then he did all 4 issues.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love this. Very nice.
Yeah, if you open up some of the other pages, I mean,
I'm about to.
I think all the black and whites. Oh, there are the Valkyrie hunters in their jeeps. Yeah, Mike, I agree. That is beautiful art. Yeah, you could see the monster. You could see the harpy hunters coming to save the day. They've got M60s and harpoon guns, and they basically renounce their last name, Michael, and join the Valkyrie family. So you would be Michael Valkyrie. I would be Buddy Valkyrie. Wow. But it's an all-women female fighting force that just go out, and you'll see this after they get the harpies, they chop off their wings and they wear them as trophies. I might even have that page there as well. But the whole idea is that they are out for revenge. That's Policeman Joe trying to transport a nurse who is...
Oh, he's on the motorcycle.
He's on the motorcycle. Yeah. So the hook of the story is that the Rat, who's based off a friend of mine, and this is all based off things that we used to say to each other, Michael. We used to say, if the apocalypse came and you had to save the world, what car would you go drive? But you had to prove that that car existed. So we would just drive around and I'd go, I drive that car. You wouldn't want to drive a Corvette, right? Because that thing would get killed. You wouldn't want a convertible. Yeah. So we would go find cars, and that was like our apocalypse ride. So his nickname in high school was the Rat. So I named him after him. And he was just a street racer, and he used to fix all my cars and stuff. And I made him the protagonist. And the story here now is that his little sister has been wounded badly. Her arm has been half bitten off, and she's dying. Mm-hmm. And he wants to get her to the front of the line for treatment and surgery. But unfortunately, if he doesn't complete a mission, he goes to the back of the line. So he has to transport medical and communication equipment from New Jersey across the Hudson, and he has to drive across New Jersey. So this all takes place in New Jersey, and I won't tell you how it ends, but that's his mission, to save his sister. So they put it at stake. They say, you want your sister to go to the head of the line? There are the Valkyries there with their trucks. You can see them there.
I'm sorry, you didn't have to stop. You could have continued with your.
They're pretty badass. Well, I love the Valkyries because by issue 3, we start introducing a whole new wave of characters that give us a lot of depth to the story. Finding out how they've joined together. And, unlike The Walking Dead, where, a lot of the focus was the survivors are fighting each other, I think that in the apocalypse, the monster apocalypse, we have a clear enemy. And in this story, we have bound together to fight that common enemy. And there are times where we're doing okay, and there's times where we're not doing well at all. But these are literally, you can see the Jeep behind them. They're wearing the wings of the harpy they have killed, which to me is what we would do, right? We would kill our enemies and we would wear their skins. And so it's a pretty brutal story.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any profanity, and there's no sexual situations. It's an R because of extremely graphic violence. Yeah. This is a monster story. The monsters are scary.
Yeah, no. I mean, I know, I know the first story. I love listening to what you're telling me, but I'm just being the artist. I'm just so impressed by what I'm seeing, and I'm like, I want to read everything because I want to see the words that go along with this page. I want just.
And I want to note, we took a risk. The first issue had a slightly different color approach with a different colorist. I brought Brian Valenza on. He's also from Indonesia. And what I was really going for was this muted palette, this brownish, grayish overtone that pulls through the story. I want it to feel grim. I want it to feel a little bit bleak, like this world that we know is all broken up. But it hasn't been like 20 years. Everything's not overgrown. It's just been, destroyed by these monsters.
Yeah. Great stuff here. I'm loving on there. He is with his.
There he is. Just look at like the extreme foreground of bullet shells. The midground of him with the bag of IV and his dying sister in his arms, and then in the background, people trying to cover him so he can make it through the rubble. I mean, he's literally jumping over rubble to a hospital to save his sister. And the hospital's been overrun. They don't realize that the hospital has also been overrun. So where they are running toward is not necessarily safety.
Yeah.
So it's a tough scene when we realize what's happened. Like they get all this way and they realize they might have run into worse danger.
Let me ask you, because I have to look, but let me just look real quick. I feel the art style is a little different from book 1 to the art we're looking at.
He grew as an artist. I mean, his work just evolved. And I don't think he'd ever had to do 4 issues in a row in that way. Michael, if you look at the first page of the first issue, you have the first issue there, and compare it to this, he's grown as an artist. You can see it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm looking at it right now, but I was going to ask, was it different? Was this something you did on purpose? And if you want to lie and say yes, because it starts off in the clean world and everything, nothing's like super destroyed yet, but things are getting, and now we're in a world where it's all.
No, he brought all the environments. We would chat about them. I write pretty detailed scripts, but he improved as an artist, and we were very collaborative. We talked about what we were going for. I even in the Kickstarter, the people who funded it saw some of the behind the scenes of how I would rough out a sketch, and the backers have been able to see that. So I would rough out something I wanted, and then he would just take it 10 times further. But one of the things I tried to do as we were going, Michael, was give him fewer panels. I made a conscious decision to give him more breathing room per panel, per page. And then actually, so issue 1 is 22 pages, 2 is 22 pages, 3 is 22. And I stretched out the last one to 30 pages. Not the smartest idea in the world, but I wanted to make sure that we had room to tell the story the right way. And at this point, prior to the Kickstarter, I just paid everything out of pocket.
Yeah.
So I figured, I've lost this much money already. Let's just make it work.
Yeah. And then that's a smart way. I mean, I know the money could be a tough thing at times, but it's a smart way of working. You want to make your story as good as it can be.
Yeah, and then if you have a black and white of this, then this is one of the Kickstarter level rewards. You can pledge a reward and get that page. I mean, nice. I'm committed to this, Michael. So I've literally, if you look at the gorgeousness of that page, you'd think I'd want to keep it, and I do. But I really want to make sure that we can fund this. Incidentally, I only have a total of less than 90 available sets. Really? I only printed issue number 1 as samples for my writing, and then I did issue number 2, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll do samples, and I gave them out. I think I printed like 150 or something, and then I just handed them out. And now that I'm doing the Kickstarter, I'm limited by my first 2 issues. So people who get this, that's it. There's only ever going to be like 90 more available. That's it. I'm not. I can't go back and reprint 1 and just print like 50 more. The economics of that wouldn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a super short run. That's part of the reason why the Kickstarter is so important to me. But I'm really delighted that so many people are buying the digital. As far as I'm concerned, I don't want that much print anymore. I don't know if you go to cons, people are like, hey, I want to buy. I'm like, I'll buy it digitally.
Yeah.
All the Kickstarters I support now, I just want the digital version. I got a nice iPad. I don't want print anymore.
Yeah, I'm the same way unless I specifically want to hold the book. I listen. I'm an old school comic guy, but I'm also very into technology. I get anything that's Kickstarter is always digital. Very rarely do I do actual print books now from them. But like I will go on websites like Indie Planet and other sites and just buy some books for $1 or $2.
Yeah.
And just enjoy it. I mean, I like the digital format. Underneath my drawing table next to me, I have about 6 or 7 comic boxes. I can't even fit my legs underneath my drawing table comfortably. But on my iPad, I got over like 100 comics that I can sit.
Yeah, and when you travel, you've got it with you. And, exactly. and Webtoons has changed my life. Like I'm on my phone, like I'm standing online in the supermarket, and I'm like, keeping up with certain stories. And that to me is, so I'm excited that people have bought those because then I can give them the story. But I'm limited by the print. I hope they go up in value. I hope people that buy the issues, at some point, maybe they turned it into a movie or a TV show or an animated series, and those people can reap the rewards and their books go up in value.
Well, I will say I do think this is something that, like an HBO Max, Netflix type of thing, could well, I don't know about Netflix. In my opinion, they don't do too well with stuff, but totally a HBO Max style.
I think Netflix's sweet spot are one-shot movies. Unfortunately, when they sometimes will launch a season, like Sandman is a good example. I'm like, okay, good, great, and now it's not being renewed. And then there was the Mark Millar TV series based on one of his comics, Jupiter or something.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I couldn't believe it. Like I invested in like I guess 10 hours into that, and I found out, they're not renewing. So I felt like they should put a beginning, middle, and end, or just a one-shot movie. And they could do a 3-hour movie if they want. They can do anything they want. So I'm optimistic that Netflix got the message that people don't like that they're only doing these 1 seasons, and I think they're going to get the message. And I think their subscriber base went back up.
Oh, I haven't paid attention to that in a while. I used to look at all those numbers. Okay, let's go to another piece of art. Oh, beautiful.
This is an interesting scene, and I'll spoil a little of it.
Okay.
Only in as much as there's a love story in here. He is not looked at as valued in society. He's a valet driver, right? Yeah. He's just a guy. He's a motorhead. He loves cars. She works at a gas station. She knows how to work on cars, classic, family business, and learned how to shoot rifles and guns on her property. Once again, not somebody that was looked at as by society as some sort of valued person, unless you needed your car fixed, right? Like then you value the mechanic. But these people are often looked at, and these are a lot of my friends and family members, blue collar people who are sometimes looked down upon. And I'm like, hey man, these people are just as valuable as anybody else. Why would we disenfranchise them? And these two people come together under this stressful situation, and they really become two of the most important people in society because they are capable of doing something that most other people can't do, which is drive through an apocalyptic situation. He drives, she shoots, she can fix the car. Policeman Joe is able to also shoot and drive. They all drive together. And the key thing here is there's a burgeoning romance. He realizes at this moment, Michael, that the world that he left, this is the world he was meant to be in, and this is the person he was meant to be with. And under any other circumstances, he wouldn't. And he realizes, I'm in love. I mean, like, this is the person for me. Like, I'm driving, she's shooting, we're killing monsters and saving the world.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of the story. Is it's about two people falling in love.
That's nice. That's a nice piece there. I had a feeling there was going to be, when I read the first issue, there was going to be something between them. But you also, because the first issue is a bit of a flashback. I don't know about the rest, but the first one has a flashback. So, like, until you told me his sister was hurt, I didn't know what happened to her. Yeah. I didn't know, little spoil. I don't mind. But I'm just saying there's little things that I read. Like, I didn't know where she came from. You just mentioned something about where she's from, and they're like, well, we can make it, if I remember correctly, right? Yeah. Up ahead to there.
And the part of the theme is and you see this throughout the book, is if there's an apocalypse, if there is a critical situation, they have to keep moving.
Yeah.
And I think that, these two are constantly in motion, but they do have to stop when the sister gets wounded. And that's a big part of these two characters coming together. Zoom in on him and her in those bottom two panels. He realizes, he didn't realize that he was falling in love with her. I mean, he was so focused on saving his sister, and he realizes that she is putting her life at risk. Look at the way she's hanging out of the T-tops of an old Mustang to help save his sister. And he realizes, like, oh my God, she's doing this for me, and we are now valued in society. Whereas prior to this, people just didn't respect them or value them. And I thought, well, there's an interesting turn. And part of that was inspired. Remember the movie The Postman?
It sounds familiar. I might have seen it. I don't.
So Kevin Costner plays a post-apocalyptic, right on. Mm-hmm. Kevin Costner, after Dances with Wolves, before Waterworld, he did The Postman. And the idea was he finds a postal uniform and decides to restart the postal system. And that's how the new world starts to communicate. And he encounters a warlord, and the warlord stops him and he says, what were you before the apocalypse? And I think Costner says, I was an English teacher. And then this warlord, muscular guy, famous actor, I forget what his name is, and he's commanding a troops, he's muscular, he's strong, and he says, I was a photocopier repairman. And look at us now. He's restarting the postal system, and he's a warlord. And I just thought, when society turns upside down, people become different things. Yeah. My HTML skills, I don't think are useful in the post-apocalyptic war. Nobody's going to be like, oh, can you write a well-crafted paragraph with an Oxford comma? I would be like, I would be happy to. I just don't think people are going to care. I don't think they care if I can write good SEO for your website. They don't care. They want to know if you can drive and shoot.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say. I'm just sitting here thinking, what skills do I have to survive in an apocalyptic world?
Well, those comics under your desk aren't going to do much.
No, they're not. They're not. I mean, I did used to work as a grill cook before I went into art full time, so
All
maybe
right,
I
well,
could
maybe a
cook for
cook.
you
Yeah.
guys, but I would be one of the first be eaten by the harpies. I know
Oh,
that.
me too, Mike. I'm slow and lazy, and although I'd be good at hiding, I think I'd be good at hiding. I think
Yeah.
I would be like, they were like, "How did you survive?" And I was like, "Oh, I had a can opener, food, and I hid."
That's exactly like if they never come into my house because I don't need to leave my house. I'm fine, you know.
I could even survive without the internet. I'm like, I got
Yeah,
comics, food, and a can opener.
exactly. I'm all good. I'm all good. But the second I step out, I walk with a limp, and
You're like, I'm slow and out of shape, and that's how I feel. So,
yeah,
but I did think it was interesting that you say, like, who society values. The society values CEOs and different, and I get it. I mean, this is the society we live in.
hold on. I kind of lost.
Oh no, don't show that page. Hide that page.
All right.
Hide that page. I shouldn't have sent that one. Okay, this is
Let me close it out then.
Yeah, this is his
Did I just close the wrong one out?
yeah, close the wrong one out.
Okay, whatever.
There
we go. We're back. All right.
I shouldn't have sent you that one. So this is based on a sketch. I wanted something to feel like very intense.
Yeah.
And it was very relatable to us. I feel like we've never looked at or noticed or feel that we are pushed aside when your characters are respected because now they're needed. I agree, and I think that value in society is a relative thing, and if society evolves and shift, what is valued currently may not be valued in this intense situation. And what skills do we have? And you have to think, like, what could I do in a zombie apocalypse, a monster apocalypse, a war, right? So I look at that and I think, well, what would happen? This guy has one really good skill. He is a really good street racer.
Yeah.
And he loves cars. And she is a really good mechanic and really good at shooting. Those are the kinds of things. So I actually asked Paul Mounts to color this with a bright purple. I looked around at the comic shop. So I go to the Joker's Child in Fairlawn, New Jersey, and I scanned the shelves and I went, nobody's using purple. So I said, give me a cover that is like screams purple. And that's what Paul ended up giving me. This is a beautiful cover. I sketched out what I wanted and he over-delivered.
Yeah, no, this is gorgeous. Gorgeous here. I love what I'm really impressed by with his art specifically are the wings. Wings are some of the hardest things to draw. And just because there's so many different ways of doing the way he's handling the feathers, I'm really liking that.
Yeah, he doesn't skimp, does he?
No, not at all.
And he doesn't skimp on the bullet shots and the wounds. Thank you. Yeah, the purple really pops.
Yeah. Wow, this is amazing. And you're right. I'm colorblind, so I mean I can see this in the kind of the reddish family, like the magenta-ish, but I can't see like purple.
You're an artist.
Yeah.
And you're colorblind.
Yeah. Well, I'm shade blind. I see colors, but when they start blending, I have trouble telling them apart. That's really what the term is referred to. But artists like Tim Sale, colorblind. Although did he pass away recently? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like Tim Sale, if I remember correctly, he did the artwork for the show Heroes. If you remember. But what he did was he drew them, like if I remember reading it correctly, he drew it and inked everything. Right. Then he had whoever color for him, and it was just printed on canvas and stretched onto the canvas board there or whatever. But yeah, so he, there are ways to do it. Like I tend to collect. I was just looking at my shelf and I found this Werewolf by Night, the Essentials Werewolf by Night.
Mike Plugart.
Yeah, but this is the type of stuff I like to look at because it's black and white. I can see that really. I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoy color, but it was I tend to look at these. I got more of the DC showcase books
Hmm.
than I'm more of a DC guy than Marvel, but I do have a few like the Essential X Factor and Essential Doctor Strange and things like that. But I think like one of the things that kept me reading manga is because it's all done in black and white and grayscale,
Oh,
and
interesting.
I can see the levels. Like I'm looking at one of the pictures right now, and I can see like if you do it properly, you can create that foreground, midground, background with just a few different shades of gray, you know, which is what happens
Yeah,
when you
the manga held on to the zipatone a lot longer
yeah
than American
yeah
comics did. Interesting that Werewolf by Night, if you pull that up, if you go full
yeah
screen with you on that book, one of the things about Werewolf by Night that's interesting, if you look at the early pages by Mike Plug, they're they're rough. He
yeah.
was definitely
Oh wait, this is this.
improving.
I don't think this is volume two. This isn't
Oh, it's
Fluke's
not
work.
Plug.
Yeah, no, it's not Fluke's
So
work.
I
Yeah,
have Werewolf by Night Volume 1, and if you look at his work from the earliest
yeah,
to the end, this is an artist who grew in real time on that book.
yeah.
The work that he did, yeah, I just love pencil sketches. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I do have volume one somewhere. I just this was they're just not in the same spot, obviously. I
Yeah,
guess.
you should do something on just like artist evolution. If you look at early Plug to his later stuff, you can see him evolving over Werewolf by Night.
Well, I will say this. Coming soon, probably because we're in October now, probably in November. I'm starting to record a few things on the weekend. I'm going to be putting out once a week. I'll be putting out what I'm calling Tip Tuesday,
Hmm.
and it's going to be about a 3 to 5 minute short video that I will edit. I might do a demo. It might be me drawing, but I plan to discuss artists as well as just the as well as the work or give you tips on cartooning or something like that or storytelling. So it's going to be out for November definitely. I've written a few of them already, and I've picked between comic artists and I've picked animators that I love, that have made an impact. I feel in the industry. Now I could pick, when it comes to comic artists, you can pick any comic artist, but there are specific animators that really did stuff, um, with the acting. That is what I probably will focus on when I choose an animator specifically. But I'm going to look at character designers, concept artists, just the whole range of what goes into cartoon art. Um, I will be talking about.
Well,
I'm writing.
I hope you talk about our family favorite, My Neighbor Totoro. We watched that thousands of times together with the kids. You know, we watched all the Disneys and the Pixars, but there was something about Totoro and the pacing of the story and the lighting design, and when you first see the creatures come in, there's just something
Yeah,
magical about it. We watched the other ones. They had Kiki's and they had Howl's,
yeah,
the moving castle, but nothing really for us topped My Neighbor Totoro.
yeah. No, it's been a while since I've seen any of those. I know, was it during the pandemic I started watching Howl's Moving Castle, and um, I turned it off because I got tired. This is when I was recovering from COVID and I was home out of the hospital and I was back home. And that was the last time I turned it on. I'm like, I should go put that on again and see. Yes, Joe, that is a fantastic film. Uh, David says, absolutely wonderful art. And Joe also says, yeah, we commented on that, about the pencil. I find myself, I'll say this just because I know we gotta move along so we can get you out on time. Um, I'm more of a penciler than I am an inker, but because of digital inks, I'm happy to ink them. Like I could just go in and hit that undo, but I just always feel my drawings are hurt by my inks because my pencils are so loose. They have so much like emotion to them and movement and stuff. But when I ink, it just gets too tight. But because I can ink digitally now, I can just ink like I'm drawing and then go back and erase things to make it look cleaner, you know. But Anyway,
and you can easily get back to the original, right?
yes,
Once you lay inks over pencils, the pencils are gone.
exactly.
Incidentally, he did all his own pencils and inks.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then we just brought in, so Paul did the cover for this one, but Brian did the interiors.
Okay. Oh, Paul, you don't give me. I'm sorry, you didn't give me the names of it. Paul who?
Paul Mounts.
Paul Mounts. Okay. All right. We gotta. Well, they're all in the Kickstarter. We have to really pay attention to that. But let's go through a couple of more pages of art real quick. So this one, obviously, since it's in pencil, is one
zoom
of the.
in on that. Let's see a good. I mean, that's where you can really see the detail of his pencils and how fine his work is. It was a real delight to see these coming in.
Nice. Like I said, I love the way he does the wings.
And he doesn't chintz out. Like, you're an artist. Hands are hard to do. Like he's not hiding from any of the details.
Oh yeah, bullets would have been covered by them in mine, so they would have been covered by bullets.
But if you scroll all the way back up to the top of the page, you can see that one harpy, like sort of turning backwards. It's a very, I think, dramatic, like the ones in the front are attacking, the ones in the back are trying to escape. I felt like he didn't just have everybody focused in the same direction with the same uniform attack mode. He really drew each one of them individually. And that's a real testament to his diligence and his hard work. I loved what he did here.
Yeah, and he's got great composition too in his.
Great composition. But what I loved was, if I suggested something, he found a way to make it work.
Yeah.
But you can see he's got the speed lines in there. That was all him. And then Paul Mounts found those speed lines and then brought the purple coloring to it, which really made it pop. Yeah. And I might have sent you the inks. I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I think we got two more to look at, and one is you at NCC, but one says must. Okay, never mind. I thought it was something else.
This is one of the pages of art that's available for Kickstarter reward. Like, I wanted to have a clear shot of the hero and a clear shot of the harpy and an action pose. So when I think about, like, if I wanted to get original art, I'd want a good page, splash, something that had action. And that's what this had. This really, I felt like helped us to see, like, he is not attacking this. He is recoiling in fear and horror. He is not a brave character at this point. This is in the first issue.
Nice. Yes, this is when he runs in to save his sister.
Save his sister, and yes. People die. He doesn't save everybody. He just saves his sister and gets the heck out of there.
Yeah. Let's see. We got this one here. Oh, that's a nice shot.
Yeah, isn't that great? I mean, look at the storytelling here. There's no flat angle. There's no easy shot. And the way he controls the eye, you have no doubt what's happening in these two panels, right?
Yeah.
Only two panels, wonderful storytelling. We go from her shooting and driving left to right and her driving away into the distance, and it's clear. We know what's happening. It's a really effective, he's a really effective storyteller.
Yeah. What's this one? And then this one must be the last one because this is you at the most recent, right? New York Comic Con?
That is 2022. That was part of the Creator Connections class photo. So we did a panel where we help people to network and meet each other, and everybody's charged up and happy. And I made them sit down and take a class photo with us.
That's great. I recognize a few in the crowd here. We got Dennis over here.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of the people in the front and near the front are part of the comic book school council and our community, and it was really super to see everybody in person in real life again. And NYCC was so much fun. Those smiles are just part of the smiles that we had when we were there.
Honestly,
it's so good to be in real life again.
If I wasn't recovering from my surgery from June, I would have gotten tickets to go, but I'm still a little nervous about being in large crowds like that.
Yeah.
But Ari right here, he will be on Sunday. I'm doing a special show on Sunday, guys, to talk about Ari's new project at 2 p.m. Eastern. So he'll be there. That's great. Let's because we got a short amount of time. Let's go back to the Let me stop sharing this. We're going to do two quick things really quick. If I know what screen my damn mouse is on here, hold on. This is the problem when you have
Does this
three.
involve me undressing, Michael? Because
No,
I don't know if I'm comfortable with that.
no, believe me. We're although there was, is it in the book or on the Kickstarter? Wasn't there a picture of you with your friend and
That is me and the guy that is the rat, and
yeah.
we're both shirtless down the Jersey Shore in my 1969 convertible Mercury Cougar, which he was literally fixing as we got down the shore. We drove down with a box of tools, a toolbox, because it was always breaking. And my dad had just painted it like 2 nights before. We just drove it down the shore, and my dad was not pleased. He was like, "You drove a wet painted car down the parkway." But that's awesome. Yeah, you can show that picture. It's in there and zoom in. It's at the,
yeah,
very
it's all
end.
the way at the bottom, so I'll scroll. But by the way, guys, this is the book. This is the first issue.
Yeah, you can see the improvement in his art, right?
It's completely different. That's why I asked if it was like on purpose. That's what I thought. Like in the beginning, it's a little more. This is the attack, and then as the issues go on and the world gets worse and worse, would he change? But no, that's him growing. Like right there. This is just so good. And there, I love that. Policeman Joe right there.
He's so placid. He doesn't make. He has almost no expressions, which is exactly what we wanted. We want him to be pretty much a stoic. Oh, there you go. Zoom in on that bad boy. That is the 1969 Mercury Cougar.
How can I zoom? 1 second. Oh, there it is. I'm in preview. I don't normally use this. I thought it was going to open up in Acrobat.
No, I'm in the red shorts. That's my best friend Jerry, and we are. That is the Cougar.
Yeah, I'm trying to get.
Yeah, and that's for those of you who are wondering. That is, I believe, Ortley Beach. We're still in Ortley Beach at that.
Okay. Do you know what year? You say the 80s, but do you know what year this is?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I bought that car. It was a piece of junk, and we made it look good, Michael. But it had as much mileage up and down on the lift as it did forward and backward on the road.
That's hysterical, man. I love this. You know why? Because it is such a nice, I don't know, nostalgic kind of throwback. I in the 80s, I was a kid to a teenager. I turned 13 in 89.
Yeah.
So, but I knew so many people.
Look at those socks and those shorts.
That's what I'm saying.
Isn't that just so of the time? In our haircuts, they were like mullets, and
but you had a good, nice wavy head of hair there. Not that you don't have good hair now. I'm just saying
we had fun, but yeah, we were both a lot thinner too. So yeah, and that car was painted. We didn't even take the bumpers off. We just painted it and masked it, and there was overspray everywhere. And we just hopped in the car and drove it.
At least it was good weather for you.
But we would get stuck on the side of the road, and he'd fix it on the side of the road, and I was useless. I couldn't do anything. He would tell me if I picked up a wrench, he would get mad at me because he knew I had a bad temper. I would throw the wrench, and he'd be like, "You threw away our good wrench." So yeah, in the back matter of each of the issues. Now, if you scroll up a little bit, there's a little background history on Apocalypse Boulevard. There's also a background history. Every one of the cars, Michael, is chosen for a reason. And it's either cars that he or I owned or cars that we wanted to own. And what we tried to do was integrate why we would choose these cars in an apocalyptic situation, right? Like a convertible is a terrible car if harpies are attacking you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's face it, it's a terrible car. A Lambo's great, but it, at a certain point, it's two people, and it, doesn't handle bumps well. You got to figure your vehicles very well. You saw in the issue that we were seeing, she's out of T-tops. T-tops are a great defensive vehicle. We put a lot of thought into that. Although the Jeeps are good. If you have an M60, a Jeep is okay. Yeah. With lots of ammo.
You know what? I didn't get to show really the Kickstarter, so let me just put that on real quick because I know we're running out of time.
By the way, thank you for this. I hope that people are enjoying it. I like your show, and I'm glad to be
Thank
on.
you.
And it's fun to show people what you're doing. And I think the key thing is, I did this out of love. You know, it was an homage to. Yeah, you might want to scroll in a little. It's kind of tiny.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why.
It was
Oh,
an
maybe.
homage to growing up in the late 80s, early 90s, and these fantasies of, I can save the world if I can drive fast. It's like the Fast and the Furious. By the way, I
Yeah.
watched all the Fast and the Furious with my daughter, and we came to the one conclusion, Michael,
Yes.
that every problem can be solved by driving fast. And if it's a really big problem, you just have to drive faster, and you will solve any problem.
Yeah.
So, incidentally, for the people who are looking, those are the two actual covers for 1 and 2.
I'm sorry, I'm scrolling fast.
Yeah,
by
no,
the way.
these are printed. These are printed.
Yeah.
They're actual comics. And like I said, we're limited. We just have a couple. So hopefully people want digital.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're showing some of the interior art here. I wanted people to know. By the way, this is an example right there. That's Chevelle. I took a little bit of back history. General Motors and Ford and Chrysler during World War II were retooled to make tanks and other military equipment for the United States war effort. And in this particular scene, and if you zoom in a little bit, I don't know if you can, in this particular scene, this is an homage to the Chevelles, which were, people would say, these things were built like tanks. That's because General Motors made tanks. So to say that a Chevelle was built like a tank was like, well, yeah, we used to build tanks. And you can see, I salute you and the brute force of the Chevelle war machine.
Yeah.
That to me was like, cars are not just transportation. They're rolling art. They're functional. They are truly, in this part of this, they're part of the story. There's actually, he uses the Chevelle in one scene to take out some harpies, and he accidentally also takes out a human. And he's like, this isn't exactly a precision weapon. You know what I mean? There's a lot of humor in there. Like, he tries to fishtail and take out harpies, and he ends up taking out a human as well. And they're like, what the? Yeah, look at the, hold on. If you just go up a little bit, look at that 2-panel sequence. You see the motorcycles, you see her looking through the scope, and then you see her. I mean, look at those little touches.
Yeah.
And you don't even realize, but like with the color palette, her hair is kind of greenish. Because he wanted to bring in a somewhat surreal and sepia experience, he made a blonde. Look at the color tonalities and look at the background of that panel of her pointing. It's blue, light blue, and then when she looks up, it's red. I mean, these are subtle things that influence the way you see the comic. And then if you scroll up to that last panel,
this way.
Yeah, look at just how intense this panel is. Look at how much he got into that panel of a nurse on the back of the motorcycle.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is an intense scene. I'm enthusiastic, Michael. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Listen,
I'm in awe all the time of stuff like this. It's just.
So here's the nurse. And one of the cool things about, I think, what we did was we made sure we kept it clear. Like, why was he on this mission? And then what is the price of this monster apocalypse? And for him, it's very personal. It is his little sister. And what we see here is these quiet moments. And I think you need quiet moments in action movies and action TV shows and action comics so that you can appreciate when everything goes crazy again. So we tried to fit that in, to have those quiet moments. And I think this is an important scene coming up. You can show it because it's on the Kickstarter. Yeah, there you go. This is when they first realized they like each other. Well, she likes him. He didn't realize. You can see from his hand expression, he's a little bit surprised.
Like, whoa.
He's like, what just happened? The Minotaurs are a lot of fun. They are stronger than cars, and they will ram a car, and he will ram them. That's his determination there.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun because, we have a land creature that's very strong, like a tanker, and then we have an aerial creature with the harpies. that are very brutal.
Here's that page. This I think is my favorite page I've seen. Just it like this could totally be a cover to an issue. It's just to me this is like one of the most perfect images.
Yeah, and we look at what I love about this. In addition, is you look at his leg positions. He's just
Yeah.
jumped over stuff, and his leg shows him in motion. And so many artists will strive for balance. And if you, my early stuff, Michael, you know, I took photo reference, and we would have people in motion. And if somebody posed like this, they looked posy. Oh, there you go.
Speaking
Got one of
of
the books.
photo references, you guys, I was looking through them the other day to help me with the drawing. All right, so the people in poses and the women and girls.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And what he was really trying to do is show a lot of motion in the panel. And if you look at the background and the foreground, there's so much motion.
Yeah.
And he brings everything to every page.
Guy's really talented here. And then this is the original art.
That's the original art, yeah. And I think each of those pages is available. That's the first splash page from the first issue. That is available as a Kickstarter reward. Insane, right, Michael?
Yeah, no, I would love just to own one of these pages or a panel. You know, probably this
everything
panel
from him.
is really nice.
I just said how much for everything. He gave me a price and shipped it from Indonesia, and it made it safely. So I just thought, like, you know, there's only so much I can frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. See, so you got the Minotaur there, and he is ready to fight.
Yeah.
Like, that's like intense. He's like breathing. I just love the way he does that. It's like,
you know, it's funny. You know, you say like there's a scene. I think it's on the first page of issue 1. I'll go back to it real quick if I have time. But it's like he's driving really fast and it's like an upshot angle of her and her head's kind of like turned, but you can see her hands are like holding on to the seat because and just the way he arched the body from that, like that's a tough angle to draw. And I was like really impressed by that.
I might have sent you the cover, the 2-page spread cover. We didn't get to use the 2-page spread, but he did a 2-page spread wraparound cover for me for the first issue. I'll have to show that. So I wanted to show, this is pretty brutal. You know, like they are eating flesh and attacking people and murdering. It's not like, if you like horror, it's got the horror in there. We don't move the camera for anything.
Yeah. It's funny because, and this is something I was talking to my wife about the other day, because I'm not a horror fan. She'll watch a horror movie, she's fine. I could read it in a comic. I can't watch it on the screen. But if it's in comic form, I have no issue with the story or anything.
Yeah, a lot of violence here. They eat. Here's a police officer who is the first to save his sister, who loses an arm in this battle. They attack a nursery, where a child care center, and they just barrage through the window. Somebody left the window open, and they lose a lot of kids in that battle. And that police officer there, they just get her out. But
as she's losing her arm
she's losing her arm, it's pretty brutal. It's gory and it's gruesome.
Yeah.
I feel like we owe the audience some gruesomeness in this because I didn't use zombies, and zombies show everything. And I was like, well, I want to show the real gore, and that to me. But I sacrificed. Like, I didn't feel like there's no like I said, there's no profanities, there's no sexual situations. That's not to say that one is better than the other, but I chose that it's a horror book. That's what it is.
And this is some of the art we saw already. I love the way
you can see the brush work there. Yeah. There's your page that you love.
Yeah, I do.
You can really see it when you look at the pencils, can't you?
Yeah. Jeez. It's beautiful.
And then this is a blurred out page, so you can't really see what's going on. You can't see what's happening to poor policeman Joe.
Oh, I don't want to know something bad's going to happen to him.
Bad things happen to everybody, my friend.
I know, but I love the character already, and it's only been one issue. So let's just check out your rewards real quick.
Yeah, so the $12 you get and it's 90 something pages of story, right? Because we have 22, 22, 22, and then 30. So it's a pretty substantial package.
92 pages.
Yeah.
So
And then if somebody just wants digital, I just throw in back issues of comics that I've written that are out of print. 7 Days to Fame, a 3-issue miniseries complete. Richie Rich 5 and 6.
For 8. Okay, sorry. I was trying to read where you wrote because I used to collect Richie Rich.
Well, and these are the print books. So I'll give you the digital plus a whole collection. So a couple people even bid on that, right? Let me just see where do we
3
have?
backers. You got 2
backers. Got
2 left.
I just dug out of my own collection.
Yeah.
So we got 32. So print and digital set. Let's see. I don't even know how many people have bid on this. 14. I got packages to send out.
Yep. 41 left out of 55.
And now I have my Deadpool issues. So you're going to get 1 through 4, and then 1 signed Deadpool. How many people have bid on that so far? I haven't looked at this.
7.
7. Right on.
3 out of 10. 3 out of 10. So you had 10. It's.
Oh, and then the photo reference book. I forgot about that.
Let's see. Which photo reference book?
I'm not sure. I mean, whatever's in the box, I take out, and I put. If somebody goes, "Hey, man, I have this one. Can you give me something different?" I'll be like, "Yeah, whatever." But whatever's at the top of the box, I throw in there, and
nice. Yeah.
And those books are heavy, right?
No, they are. I mean, listen, I got mine still. I've had these for years. They're in pretty decent condition because it comes with a
CD-ROM. That's right.
And I just copied and pasted most of the stuff, and just saved them on my hard drive. But every now and then I want to pull out the book and actually look.
Michael, you have to make sure you go in on the CD-ROM. There are Easter eggs that I hid inside the CD-ROM.
I'll have to look again. It's been a while.
I hid stuff in there. Just because it was fun. Okay, so print issues. I have a mystery box. Nobody's bid on the mystery box. I'm a little sad. It's a lot of stuff that I have from I'm just going to take things and just put it into a box.
From when you worked at Wizard?
Marvel stuff, just random stuff, comics, whatever. I'll make it worth their while. But I think I have 3 of them. Nobody bid on that. And for $275, you can take home one of those pages of original art.
And you get to pick until first come, first served.
What's interesting about this is he didn't draw everything consistently on art boards. He drew he just drew them whatever he had. Yeah. So, you can see the quality of the art. He drew some of it on regular paper, Michael. It doesn't even have the same tooth as artboard, but he made it look great.
That's no, he did a fantastic job. This is it's a beautiful book. Like I said, it's well written, and I've only read the first issue, and you set up a great story.
Thank you.
I do have a comment from Joe Ryan asking if you're going to create another reference book because he loves them.
It's funny. In this era now of on-demand printing, it is becoming more viable. I had stopped it for a while. People were pirating the books, Michael.
Mm-hmm. I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. So the last book that came out, it was on the internet before it was in the store.
Wow.
That's right. So the publisher was like, we're not going to be able to do this. And then they got acquired by Penguin Random House. And Penguin Random House is like, yeah, we don't know if we want to keep them in print. And I was like, why? They were like, well, we sold out. And I go, isn't that why you should keep it in print? And they were like, well, they're all sold out. And then we would have to print more. And I'm like, and then sell those? And they were like, yeah. So they sell them now as digital, which I'm happy for the royalty check, but I like the books.
Yeah.
So I think people like the physical books, especially artists.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I was saying about the comics earlier. I like physical comics, but I'm still cool with, I got my iPad, I got my phone. I mean, I take my phone wherever I go, and
I've been thinking about making an iPad version, something that's optimized for the iPad, because I just think so many people, so many artists have iPads and Cintiqs and the ability to pull it up there and do away with a book. I love physical for my photo reference books and art books, but I can see making one all digital as well.
Yeah. I think, and listen, digital is the way to go. I mean, I won't keep you because I know you got to go in a moment, but we could talk off the air at another show. I have a whole thing that I've talked to other artists about moving more towards digital than print, and a lot of them are no, you got to have the print book. And you know,
Here's my
like,
theory, Michael.
yeah,
I think most things will be digital first. I
yeah,
think there will be certain books that will have a physical keepsake that you collect. But I think there will be a point where printing, transporting, and storing these will become more challenging for certain people. Now, I
yeah,
think there will be certain generations that are digital first and digital only. I think there'll be certain generations like us who grew up on print and will stay with our print. But I read so much, Michael, that I can't possibly
yeah.
store everything.
That's my problem. Plus, also,
Digital comics are for the weak.
yeah, I was gonna,
Comic.
David, we will have to have that conversation. Actually, I think I told him my theory once, and he told me I got to learn to calm down. I'm gonna have I'm gonna have like an aneurysm or something. It just
I think I'm with Facebook user. I prefer
yeah,
physical books to read,
yeah,
but I do read so fast. Both prose, so I have a Kindle, and because things end up stacking up and returning,
yeah,
so I read very fast. I don't mind paying for my media. I mean, I'm fine with paying for
yeah,
media. I just because we grew up paying for media, right, Michael? Like this idea of everything being free on the internet, which is where piracy came from. People felt like they wanted to get my books for free. As far as I'm concerned, though, I think where we're going to see is people like me who are able to get these digital assets out, entertain an audience, and then have just a limited run, right? Like mine
yeah.
is essentially 150 tops. I don't know what happened to most of them. So the most I have now left is 90, and then I'll be done. I'm not saving any for myself. So
Really?
those are, no, I'll save one.
Yeah,
I'm not going to save a collection. I'll save one, and that'll be it.
yeah,
And what else do I need? So I think, look at this, look right behind me. Like I really don't, you can see behind me, like I keep
yeah,
one of everything, but I don't keep a lot of everything.
yeah. No, in the same way. When everything, the only thing I have a couple of issues of still, like multiple of, is the very first book I ever self-published.
What was that?
After that was one of my Plunger Pup books.
Pull it up. Let's see it.
I'd have to see if I can find it.
Oh no, now you can't find it. Big
No.
talker here. I keep a copy.
Well, I have a, listen, I have a raw, full, hold on, of everything that I was ever published in.
You know, I used to do that, and then I just got lazy.
Yeah. Hold on here. I got a lot of stuff right here. So let me just pull up a few of the Plunger Pups. So this, that's somebody else's. Whoops, somebody else. Oh, I was in it. So the first thing I ever got published, or I ever self-published, was the Plunger Pup. You know, this is all beat up and dirty. It's my little ash can. That was the first thing I ever did.
Limited edition? There's not 10,000 of those around, is there?
If anybody kept them, then there's less than 100 out because I have about 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Then it went Plunger Pup issue 1, 2, and 3. That's number 2. What the hell's number 3? Actually, there's 3. Where's number 2? So then there was issue 1.
Nice.
Then
in full color.
Yep. Then I went black and white for a little money.
Well done. Is that Moon Knight in the background?
No. That's the Phantom Plumber.
The Phantom Plumber.
Yeah.
Obviously, a little bit influenced by Moon Knight.
Actually, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, okay.
he's much more Ben Kenobi than Moon Knight. I did read Moon Knight too at the time, but yeah. And then I created the team book, and it's the Ridiculous Heroes. So it's Plunger Pup and the rest of the team forming.
Look at that.
And this, here was the other book. And what happened in this book, I just couldn't afford to print it because at the time you had to buy 1,000 copies of books, and I just wasn't selling. But so I stopped it. But I did get a review that said Michael could be one of the funniest writers of our time. And I don't remember where it was. I had it saved on my computer, but through moving, and this is we're going 97 or 2000 with this book,
So somebody throws you a good compliment, and that's the one thing you lost.
I lost was could be one of the funniest writers. Sets up a good story. He said he set up a good story. It was a little generic in the sense of the setup, but very like Justice League like.
You know what, Michael? Yeah. The heck with those people. Yeah. Like, let's attribute that to David Abrevaya. Yeah. David, we're going to attribute that claim to you, and Facebook user, we're going to give the other half to you. So you guys will compliment Michael so that we have. Why don't you guys type a compliment to Michael? Could be one of the funniest writers of our generation. Yeah. And then we'll quote you, and he went in the reprint.
And what issues? And then this, I think, might have been the first thing I ever got published, if I remember correctly. No, then it wasn't this book. It was one of the first things I did. I did some pieces for a small press magazine here. It was called Comic Fan. I don't know if you ever seen that.
Oh, I love old fanzines. Yeah, I love them.
So one of my first was the Fat Fury.
Oh, there you go.
One of the first things I ever got published. I didn't know where it was going to be. I thought it was going to be. They didn't tell me to do it in black and white, so did it in color. This is one of my comic strips that got published in the fanzine. It was about Captain Marvel and
going to the dentist. There you go.
Going to the eye doctor.
Oh, the eye doctor.
Yeah, and it says, "Well, Captain, it seems your eyelids have been fused shut. How often are you around high volts of electricity?" And I was making fun of the way he gets drawn and stuff. But the first thing I got published was in one of these. I just don't even know which way. I have a bunch here.
I'm impressed that you can like pull your stuff out like that. My stuff's just in deep storage. Like if somebody was like, where are your comics? I'm like, I'm not 100% sure.
Well, I only have one draw. Just remember that. So it's not a huge.
It's not even so much that. Like I don't put any of my own stuff up really. I don't, No,
I like to know where my, just where my stuff is when I can. I got a lot.
Look, David gave you a quote. Pull that up. Oh. You got to pull that up. You can attribute David. Here you go. This is the quote. Now you can use that. You can use that in your next book.
I will. I totally use that one, David.
David, you win, man. You just leveled up.
Okay, I got the same thing here. One of the funniest writers. Could be one of the funniest writers.
Oh, it was a conditional.
Yeah,
could be. If a few other writers went away, he could be the funniest writer. But
well, we'll see when my other stuff comes out. But we went a little over longer than you wanted to. I apologize for that, man.
I was having fun, man. I was looking at the time. I'm like,
yeah,
keep going. So, any last things? Am I supposed to say anything? Were we supposed to sing or something? Wasn't it?
Do you want to? I'll be honest. Today, because I was having you on, I don't know how it happened, but the My Buddy commercial popped in my head. Remember that toy when you were?
Do I remember that toy? That haunted me when I was a kid.
It haunts me. I'll tell you a short story because you'll like this. So obviously they kind of based the Chucky doll on that. Right. So Child's Play came out. I couldn't watch horror, scared of it. This might be one of the reasons I don't like horror. My cousin had a My Buddy doll. He's 3 years younger than me. And I was sleeping over my cousin's house. My brother he's older, he's 5 years older. And there was my other cousin who's about a year older than me. So I'm sleeping on the floor. My brother takes the My Buddy doll, puts it next to my head, takes a flashlight and shines it up.
Oh, there you go.
Then wakes me up after showing me Child's Play.
You're done.
And I was screaming. It was like 1 a.m. I screamed. I'd have my parents come and get me. I was literally like 8 or 9 years old.
Now, did you have that goatee when you were 9?
I wish. I wish. It's where it turned white, I'll tell you.
Well, Michael, I got constantly ribbed for my name. It's a strange name, and I remember once meeting this girl, and I was like, oh, and she's like, what's your name? And she tells me your name. She goes, what's your name? And Buddy. And she starts laughing. She goes, oh, I had a German Shepherd named Buddy. And I was like, oh, see, that's it. That's it. There's no one's going to take me seriously. So
Well, listen, we're taking you seriously now. You
Oh
do
wait,
amazing
Facebook
work.
user would have said, "Pull up." Now he's backing up.
Oh,
Here
Joe,
we
you
go.
don't have to. You can make fun of me. I don't care. I would have said is one of the funniest writers, but I've never read your. Oh, that is true. You've never read my work. Well, you just listened to that one joke I read out to you. You know, you hope you laughed.
Yeah,
It wasn't a good joke in my opinion, but I hope you laughed. It
but
was
there
more
you
of
go,
it was
Facebook
visual.
user.
Yeah.
Why is it coming as Facebook user?
I
Why is
don't
it
know. He used
anonymizing?
to come up as his actual name when he watched, but now he comes up as Facebook user.
What's his real name?
Joe Ryan.
Joe Ryan.
Yes.
Is that Joe Switchblade Ryan? I just feel like if we don't know his real name, we should call him like Switchblade Ryan or something. Joe, from
Because
now on in the future, I hope that you change your Facebook profile to say Joe Switchblade Ryan for the future. Christened here,
yeah.
Joe. So anyway, thank you, Michael. This is fun.
Yes.
And thank you for
Yeah.
drawing a spotlight on me and other creators. I think we do it for the love.
Yeah.
And hopefully I will never make back the money that I spent on this.
Mm-hmm.
There's just not enough copies available for
Yeah.
that. But I'm hoping that people buy the digital versions, and then hopefully buy my future ones, and I'll do better Kickstarters. I am not a very skilled Kickstarter, so I learned a lot in this one.
You made it successful already. So
Well, successful. I got it funded,
yes.
but I'll still in the end lost a lot of money.
Okay. I've never run a Kickstarter. At one point I had plans to, and I don't think I ever will.
There you go, Joe Switchblade Ryan. Joe, he's kind of. I
kind of dig
man.
that.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to start like greasing his hair back, and
because if you met somebody and they were like, "Hey, I got to talk to this guy Gracia. He got another guy named Switchblade Ryan who's going to do a job for us," and you'd be like, "I can believe that Gracia and Switchblade Ryan will take care of that for you. No problems asked. Your problems will just go away with Switchblade Ryan."
all right. Joe, I want to see on when we're going to be adding Credicon on what is it, the 29th, the Saturday, last Saturday in October. We're going to be up in Dutchess County. I want to see your new sign that says Joe Switchblade Ryan.
So, and the hustle on this, Michael, is that Joe cannot tell people why his name is Switchblade. In fact, you have to say, people go like, why do people call you Switchblade? And he's like, well, I'm not actually legally allowed to say. and just leave it at that, and just be like, don't say anything. Don't say. And you got to be like, dude, what? They're never going to find you.
Yeah.
So, Joe, you got a whole routine to work out.
And I want you to come also with those switchblade combs. Remember those?
There's probably one of those in my car in that photo. Oh, wait, David said something nice. Let's say, go ahead.
Let's see. Whoops, what happened there? This was a great episode. Here, it's the series of Michael. Has a wonderful artistic style with an incredible heart, especially when he draws Superman on the spot. We had David and I were both in the Bill Finger Art Show a couple of weeks ago that ran throughout September at Poe Park in the Bronx.
Wow.
And which, by the way, we got to get together. I have his art. But one of our friends there was drawing Batman free for the kids or whoever asked. It was just and he wanted me to do a Superman drawing before I left, so I kind of did a Superman piece there. Hey, Izzy is watching. You come right at the end, Izzy, all the time.
Izzy, just in time. It still costs you the same amount. We still charge full price, and anyway, Michael, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it, and you're a fun host.
Thank you.
I can't believe we're almost on 90 minutes right now.
I know.
Yeah. I don't know why anyone else is still on. Maybe Switchblade's got him hostage or something. He's got him in a warehouse, and he's like, type a comment. Say something nice.
Just got home for a special. It's okay, Izzy. No worries, man.
Izzy, this is the special event. These are the droids you're looking for.
Anyway, let's wrap you up because I know you got to go. I want to thank you for coming on. I had a fun time. Always fun chatting with you. Um, I hope to see you at a show soon if I ever get out to a show again. Uh,
If I'm ever allowed to leave the house and
yeah.
there's no apocalypse, I'll see you soon.
Oh, if there's no apocalypse, I'll go out. But every day I go out, I feel like there's an apocalypse.
If
I
there's an apocalypse, I'm heading to your house. We're just going to read comics and
Dude, I seriously, I go out for a walk almost daily, and every time, but the time of the day I go, it's so quiet. It's so quiet. Very little cars on the street, and it's like, man, I sit and think, and sometimes I feel like the world has ended.
but it hasn't. There's still YouTube and everything. Oh,
Yes,
look, buddy, please make new books for you. Switchblade, anything.
yes. All right, we keep saying we're going to go, and I keep having you on. Let me drop you backstage. I'll talk to you.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks,
very
everybody.
welcome. All right, guys. So what a fun show tonight. I love chatting with Buddy. Always entertaining. His book, Apocalypse Boulevard, up on Kickstarter right now. I just saw the number go up, Buddy. I know you're watching backstage. Someone just pledged. So hopefully it was someone from my show. I'm hoping that it's great. Listen, on Sunday, I got a special show at 2 p.m. Eastern, so tune in that time. And then on Wednesday, sorry, I keep thinking Tuesday because my show used to be on Tuesdays. Next Wednesday, I'm going to have a friend of mine on who's also a writer, has written stories for me. I illustrated one of the Zorro stories in the book. Don Everett Smith Jr. is coming on next Wednesday, and we're going to have on Sunday, we're going to have Ari. So just tune in, stay around, man. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'll see you guys, on Sunday. All right. Have a good rest of your day, week, and thanks for watching whenever you're watching. All you live people who interacted, awesome. Talk to you guys soon. All right.